Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today I am gonna do a video that's new for me. I have taken the inspiration from Caitlin Costello. If you don't know her, I will definitely have her channel linked for you guys. And I highly suggest you check her out because she's an amazing project planner. She does such cool eye makeup looks. Like, I can only dream of being able to do those. So I highly suggest you go check her out. She has done a couple of videos where she's duping new palette releases with her singles collection. And she's trying to recreate that palette. Now, I don't have a very big singles collection, in my opinion. I want to try and recreate the Glam Lite Garfield palette. I've been talking about this palette. I think I talked about it in my beauty bank update because I was unsure to pick it up. I will insert a photo of what it looks like. So I really want this palette, but I think I want it mainly because of the packaging. The packaging is selling it for me. So I thought maybe I can recreate that color story. Like I said, I don't have the singles collection to recreate that palette right here, but I want to put the swatches on the screen as well, and I want to go through my collection and see if I have those colors in my collection. I have all of my palettes to the side here. I'm gonna pull up a photo of the swatches and we are gonna start. So hopefully I am now putting the swatches for you guys on the screen as well, and we can start. So we're starting with a brown shimmer. It's like a light champagne-y gold shimmer. It looks to have kind of a silvery tone to it. So I'm thinking Glam Shop Singles. Oh no, wait, that shade is actually my palette. So this is the shade Colored Smoke, and this is a brown with like a sort of silvery shift to it. I'm thinking that this might be a good contender. So let's see, I'll just swatch it on my hand right here. I feel like a little bit lighter than what is in that palette. See, I also have this palette from Give Me Glow. So maybe Coconut Slushy is more, so that's more of a gold. Also not quite what I'm looking for. That one is a little bit too dark, but this one could work. Okay, yeah, that is more like it. So does this, and this one honestly is more of a topper shade. Maybe I could also use that one. That's also more of a topper. But I'm thinking that this one is most like the swatches. It is a brown with sort of like a green blue tint to it. I'm gonna go for that one. That one is the shade All In from the Beauty Bay Naked Tutorials palette. I'm gonna try and build that up. Almost the same effect as that first shade. Then we have a yellow, and it is sort of an orange yellow. I know in here we have one that could work. So I'm thinking that is most like it. But I also have this yellow from the Zulu palette. That's more yellow than orange compared to the other one. So yeah, that one is definitely the best option. Beautiful. Okay, next we have another shimmery brown. I'm just looking at it to figure out what it's a warm shimmery brown. I think I should look into my Zoeva palettes. It's more of a red tone. Ooh, that one can work. Pure Ganache from Zoeva. Yeah, that's... Okay, it's more of like a coppery brown, but I think it'll work. Maybe this one will work. It's similar. Actually, it's the same. I just realized this now. Okay, we're just gonna go with this one. Pure Ganache from the Zoeva Cocoa Blends palette will be our next shade. I really wish I could just take out all of these shades and put them in a palette for you. But yeah, unfortunately, I cannot take these shadows out. So then next to that is a sort of pinky shimmer, but when I look at the photo of the palette, it looks more orange than pink, but in the swatches you have these two shimmery pinks very close together. So I'm gonna search for a more peachy pink shimmer. See where I can find that. Okay, this is a pinky peach, maybe. Well, that could work. Yeah, actually, I think I'm gonna go for this one. So mine is definitely more peachy. But there's that. Then we have a matte brown, which is just boring, warm toned. I think actually this is fine for that. I have like a billion in my collection, so there's that one there. Again, this is from the Beauty Bay Naked Tutorials palette. Actually, this shimmer is called Aura and the matte brown is called Mila. And then we have that pink shimmer, and I'm thinking maybe this one can work for that. Or this one. Okay, so no, that's definitely more blue. I have other pink shimmers that could work, but they're all kind of like blue toned pinks. Oh, maybe this one can work. Okay, it's not quite like in the palette, but I do prefer this one because this one is so similar to the peachy one, and this is just a little bit different without it being blue toned like that one. So we're gonna go for that one, and that comes from the Berries palette, and it is the shade Sofa. Okay, like that. Look how similar these two are. That's sort of what the original is like, so I guess we're doing okay. Next to that is a matte red, and it's not like a bright red, it's more of a deep red. So I have this, that could work. All of my other reds are very true red, and that's not what it is. So I'm gonna try this like that. That's more purple red, which actually is also in the palette. So, and then I also want to try this one. Okay, so those are essentially the same. So I think this one could work for the red matte, and then there's this burgundy shade at the end of the palette, so we could come back to that one. So I'm going to use the shade Loyalty from the Beauty Bay Berries palette as my matte red, if you will. It is a little bit darker than the swatches of Glam Lite, but I'm okay with this. Next to that, we have a shimmery, it looks like a shimmery champagne in the palette, but in the swatches, it's sort of like a purple with a silver yellow shift to it. I don't know if this is going to be exact, but I do know what I want to use for that, because I have this shadow from Glam Shop. This is Kiwi Purple. I forgot to wipe these swatches off my hand, and they're not going to go. This shadow, Kiwi Purple, is one of my favorites from Glam Shop. It's not going to do that justice, but it is a purple base with, you can see the reflex there, very bright green and yellow shift. So I'm going to definitely use that for whatever that one shade is in that Garfield palette. It might not be quite the same, but I love this shadow so much. So there's that. I'm sorry, my lighting is not the best, but I'm just trying to work with what I've got. Then there is a matte lilac purple, and I know I have one like that, and it comes from my ABH Nervina palette. This is in the packaging of my Nobla Dreamy palette. I think Soul is very similar to what I see in those swatches. That's pretty much exactly that color. I do not like this shadow at all, but for this swatching, this palette, we are gonna need it. So there it is, a matte purple, stunning. Then we have a matte orange, and I think I'm gonna go back to the Summer Vibes palette because there's an orange in here as well. That looks stunning. I'm just gonna go for it. I believe it's a good match. Look at that. Oh my goodness, that's perfect actually. Looks very much like that one from Glam Lite. It is very dry though. Alright, there's that. And then I think we can stay in this palette possibly, because we are looking for a dark matte brown. This one can work. It's a matte brown. This, by the way, is called Orange Soda Pop, and this one is Tan Lines. So, I mean, I could look through all of my palettes and see what's the very best dark brown, but I have so many and I don't really care because matte brown is matte brown, and this seems to be an okay match. Maybe mine is a little bit more warm toned than in the actual palette, but it's okay. Like, I'm not gonna purchase this palette over a matte brown that I cannot dupe, you know what I mean? It's just the palette as a whole, I need to see it, that I have it in my collection, and so far we're doing pretty good in my opinion. So last one I need is that burgundy, and we can take it out of this palette because it's right here, or out of the Naked Tutorials palette because there is an exact shade in there as well. So I'm just gonna make it easy on myself and use the shade Journal from the Beauty Bay Berries palette, and that will be the final shade. and then there it is. I don't know what you guys think, but it looks pretty darn close to me, to the Glam Lite swatches. I'm not talking about quality or formula, but just color-wise, they look pretty damn close. So that concludes this video, I think. Obviously, I don't have to buy the Glam Lite Garfield palette because I have all of these shades in my collection. So here's all the palettes that I ended up using, plus one Glam Shop single. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Please be kind to me about the setup and lighting and whatnot. I'm trying my best with what I've got. I honestly, maybe next time would put a studio light on here just to give some extra lighting, but it's not the worst, I think, I hope. So thanks again for watching, and I will hopefully see you in one of my next videos. Bye bye!